Alright, I don't know what happened there, but there was a little bit of lag trying to record. This is now game 3 between ZhouXixi and Sandan here on here on Echo Isle, and no, not Echo Isle. This is, oh my gosh, Secret Valley. There we go. ZhouXixi spawning as the purple night elf on the top right-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Sandan spawning as the teal night elf. Why am I saying their names in Chinese with uttermost precision? Well, apparently I can't make anyone happy with with how I pronounce their names. So I'm gonna just try and say their names how they say them in China and see if anyone has any issues there. Yes, I know Samdan's name stands for 3 eggs, and ZhouXixi, well, it's in the comments below, but let's go ahead and just get this game started, as it will be a Night Elf versus Night Elf mirror match. You can see Demon Hunter gonna go ahead and take down the Null Overseer here, and this mirror match is actually not that mirrored. Samdan opting to open up with a Priestess of the Moon. Not your typical hero by any stretch of the imagination, as the Priestess of the Moon is generally used for leading the army a bit more than trying to harass with the hero. So I am very, very much impressed already that Samdan opted to go ahead and go for the Priestess of the Moon, and now going to pick up that Tome of Intelligence or Agility. Thank you very much. Tomes are in fact important, as the Demon Hunter quickly picks up a Claws of Attack +6. Ring of Protection +2 versus Claw of Attack +6. Not quite sure who has the upper hand there, as Samdan accidentally leaves behind an archer, and that archer will get taken out, unfortunately for him. Meanwhile, let's take a look at what's happening over here. The Priestess of the Moon. Is it gonna, what happened here? Oh, there is a Wisp down over there, and that Wisp is gonna be able to get away rather easily. Let's see if that Priestess of the Moon will be able to catch up to it. It looks like that Wisp is on the run, and it looks as though the Demon Hunter will just come off, perhaps get a mana burn. No real reason for that. Well, it does, I guess, burn mana and deal damage, so it does drain the Moonwells as equally, if not more so, because of that extra 50 hit points. So yes, I guess that is a decent enough trade if you're trying to consider Moonwell versus Moonwell advantage. Meanwhile, Priestess of the Moon gonna go ahead and pick up most likely Boots of Speed, maybe a Staff of Teleportation, maybe Dust of Appearance. I don't know. She is an indecisive shopper and picks up 2 of the 3 items and leaves 1 behind. Meanwhile, back over here by ZhouXixi. ZhouXixi opening up with the Tree of Ages, getting up that Ancient of War, and the Moonwells are not down. I don't see a Hunter's Hall. I spoke too soon. I was really curious, like, where is the Hunter's Hall? It should really be coming into play by now, as we're looking at the Priestess of the Moon just trying to put a little bit of harassment inside this space. Meanwhile, down over here, the Huntress is going to be going ahead and doing a little bit of harassment all by her, or doing a little bit of harassment there, getting that Priestess of the Moon to level 2, and she most likely has picked up Searing Arrows. So the Huntress doing a good job just getting a little bit of experience, as Gauntlets of Ogre Strength +3 has been left behind. Now, how well does Samdan know Night Elf? He actually knows all of the races fairly well, and this is one of the reasons why Samdan is such a strong player. He is not afraid of relying on his micro to execute unorthodox strategies. You can see him now picking up an Owl Scout, doing what it does best, being a scout, flying around the map, and, well, just scouting everywhere or I guess, I don't know, does a magical being have a sex? Is it male or female? I really don't know. Down over here, Priestess of the Moon gonna go ahead and attempt to take down the Null Wardens here, and with the Priestess of the Moon has an added benefit of being able to attack that Red Drake. Now, if the Red Drake actually gets aggroed, pulled away, that may work, as the Huntresses are still making their way over. Gloves of Haste, a very nice item for that Priestess of the Moon, as we're going to be looking at the Priestess of the Moon still taking a fair bit of damage. It is, I believe, regenerating hit points though, and it would be doing even more so if it kept that Ring of Protection +2. Perhaps it's having second thoughts. Alright, Priestess of the Moon deciding to back away. The Huntresses will be able to get away here, as the Priestess of the Moon now heads off to the north. Gonna go ahead and clear out this creep camp, the Ogre Magi creep camp here. Hold on one moment. Clear out the Priestess of the Moon, or clear out the Ogre Magi creep camp here, and now setting up a Tree of Life in a rather unorthodox location for the expansion. This is not where you normally expect it at all, and it is most likely gonna go undetected. That is very, very big. Meanwhile, back down over here, the Demon Hunter is actually clearing out the Th000's own, or Samdan's own, Ancient of War. It will get taken out. There it goes, but it did buy a little bit of time as we're now looking at a Panda as the second hero. Alright, Tree of Life looks like it will get up and operational if it's not scouted. And what we're going to see now is Th000 keeping a good track of this portion of the map. He wants to make sure that this expansion is not scouted by keeping the units on the right side of the map, making sure that if he wants to get scouted, he is going to force an engagement. However, those archers are relatively effective against those huntresses in confined quarters. The huntresses need to get within semi-melee range, essentially. Even though they're not technically melee units, they have much shorter ranges than those archers, and because of that, those archers can focus fire those huntresses safely from behind all of those moonwells. Here we are. We're going to see a little bit of a fight here. The archers could try and turn back around here. The Panda does have a Mantle of Intelligence, but we'll see whether or not that is going to increase the number of Breath of Fires we're looking at from ZhouXixi. Alright, Huntress is now dealing also with Dryads, and Dryads are a definite problem here as we're looking at the Huntresses going up against all these units. A big drunken haze onto all of the units in the center as one Huntress will get taken down. This is an absolute bloodbath, and Samdan is just not in a good spot at all. One Dryad does get taken down. You can see more focus fire coming in, as well as there goes a Dryad there. The archer's still lobbing those arrows, and I think Samdan has to go back, lick his wounds, and figure out what exactly his follow-up play is going to be. The archers, the Dryads, far too effective against these poor Huntresses, as the Huntresses now perhaps try to creep out this top left creep camp, but will have to be playing a very, very dangerous game of who can get in range and start healing without actually getting taken down by these creeps. Meanwhile, in the center portion of the map, Panda is now at level 2, Demon Hunter still shy of level 3, as we're clearing out the Goblin Merchant shop. And it looks as though the Huntress may be able to focus down this Red Drake, and that's exactly what's happening here. The archers are going to go ahead and focus down this Red Drake, as the Red Drake is just outside of combat range. The archer, however, needs to pull back. You can tell that the hit point regeneration is actually faster on the archer. Oh, Dust of Appearance being dropped so that he can pick up the Red Drake item. It will be a Robe of Magi +6, a very, very nice item there. 4 more Searing Arrows. The problem is that the Priestess of the Moon, now with 570 mana, will be draining these Moonwells extremely quickly. One Huntress actually stuck behind enemy lines or friendly lines, but the Ancient of War can uproot itself rather quickly. Demon Hunter still sitting at 2 as the Panda gets to level 3. Staff of Preservation sends him all the way back home, as we may see a little bit of a creepjack here. Huntresses are getting into position and now going after those slow-moving archers. All right, Dryads, archers, what's going to be happening there? There's a little bit of bounce damage there. No Staff of Preservation, so that is going to be a big surprise there as one Huntress gets taken down. A second Huntress now going down as well, as the Dryads get focused down by the 2 archers of Samdan. So Samdan adding in those archers to really focus down the Dryads, and that is really working. It's actually melting away the lines a little bit faster, as the Priestess of the Moon does have exceptional damage with those Searing Arrows. That was a rather big surprise and a rather big turnaround here. Are we going to see that damage go or be lethal enough? No, we are not, as ZhouXixi able to save it. Now, double Ancient Protectors here at the expansion at the 3 o'clock location. The Dryads and the piercing damage of ZhouXixi are not going to be able to do very much. This is such a good play, and this was actually all part of Samdan's plan early on. He knew that his opponent was most likely going to be going for heavy piercing damage, so what does he do? He builds this expansion here, all fortified armor, which is rather difficult for heroes and piercing damage to take out. Now, ZhouXixi is forcing it into engagement that he really doesn't want to be a part of, as he knows that he needs to shut down the economic advantage as well. However, Samdan is very, very low in terms of the overall army size, 39 over 50 compared to ZhouXixi's 36 over 50, and you got to remember there is an offset by the entangled gold mines. All right, here you go. You can see a little bit breath of fire here. The Wisp are going to be pulled off of the mine to try and repair. The big question is going to be whether or not the Panda can get a breath of fire off onto all of those Wisps, and that is the important part there. ZhouXixi purposely using a potion of health, knowing that's exactly what he needs to do here, as, oh, Dust of Appearance reveals two of the Huntresses. One Huntress will get taken down. Breath of Fire does go down as well, as the Dryads are still pushing into this realm here. All right. Demon Hunter with evasion, absorbing a whole bunch of damage, and you can take a look. Panda getting stabbed to preservation all the way back home, and now the Wisp should be jumping out to try and repair these ancient protectors. This is an absolute nightmare in positioning for Samdan, as Samdan's Huntresses need to run by this gauntlet of Dryads getting pierced and slowed down. They are pretty much down to red life by the time they get into position, and that is a big, big issue. All right, the Dryads trying to come back around from the far side here. It looks like it may work. It looks like all of the Wisp were able to get inside the gold mine to avoid a breath of fire right there, as a potion of greater healing is on that Panda. Panda needs to get off a breath of fire. If it can hit some Wisp, that will be a very big deal as well. But he will need to get 2 breath of fires off onto those Wisp in order to really blow them down. All right, Priestess of the Moon sitting at level 4. It looks like there are a couple of just Huntresses all across the map. Wisp are repairing these ancient protectors right here, right now, knowing that that is extremely important, as the Dryads are looking to finish off the Red Drake. 2 Huntresses sitting shadow melded at the bottom right-hand side, as a Druid of the Claw in a very big bit of trouble. All right, Panda, it does get stabbed to preservation back home. Very, very big deal, as the Panda gets a breath of fire off onto all of those Huntresses. That stab of preservation, being able to teleport one of those heroes home, and that has been used very, very defensively as opposed to, or offensively as opposed to defensively. Being able to engage and attack your opponent as opposed to trying to save your own units. A little bit of one of the reasons why Staff of Preservation is such a strong item, adding in the fact that you can get it at tier 2. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. ZhouXixi looks like he's going to be losing this Ancient of Wonders. Meanwhile, down over here, Dryads absolutely getting pummeled, but stabbed the preservation in time. Panda is in position for a breath of fire. Wisp are trying to repair, but it's not going to be enough, as you are looking at the second Ancient Protector getting taken down. However, does Samdan care? He doesn't look like it. Samdan pretty much saying, you know what? I can trade you base for base. I don't care about that at all, as we now see True Shot Aura, perhaps level 3 coming down. No, still sitting at level 2. There, level 3. All the Huntresses with +6 damage. 30% bonus damage, and that is the reason why this Huntress army is as scary as it is, dealing 23 damage minimum instead of 17. That is a huge damage boost overall, as we look at the Tree of Life has been taken down. Still seen at 44 over 40 compared to 45 over 50 now. Wisp still down over here, as this Priestess of the Moon strategy may work out extremely well. Priestess of the Moon getting in a little bit more mana, selling some items. Doesn't need that much mana, and picking up Scrolls of Healing and a Potion of Invulnerability instead. It looks like he is sticking to this strategy with triple Ancient of Lores and now adding in Glaive Throwers. All right, the Glaive Throwers with that piercing damage should be able to make pretty short work of everything. Gloves of Haste, Dust of Appearance, all left behind here. Slippers of Agility, Boots of Speed. What's going to be happening? +14 attack, +6 on those Huntresses. And that is a crazy amount of damage. 23 on the low side, 27 on the high side for fast-moving range or semi-ranged attacking units, especially when you consider that the Dryads are going to be really forced to deal with those Glaive Throwers, as the Glaive Throwers are now being added in there as well. Ogre Magi getting in some easy damage there. Troll Berserker going to get taken down. It looks like the Priestess of the Moon realizes that she's not going to be getting any new items. Claws of Attack +9, Cloak of Shadows may get picked up just to be sold on the way back. As we're looking at, yes, there is still a Dust of Appearance here, and using the Fountain of Health is really the reason why Th000 is in such a good position. He's using the map resources to his advantage, and if he wins this game, it is going to be because of that. However, he doesn't have this game in the bag yet. He does have to go up against a level 4 Demon Hunter and a level 4 Panda. Not an easy task when you consider that ZhouXixi is at tier 3. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look. Priestess of the Moon. Cloak of Shadows. That should be sold without a shadow of a doubt. Dryads now being added. The Dryads don't have any upgrades. Huntresses don't have any upgrades either, as we are now going into the Strength of the Wild. Training. Dryads will be getting in a little bit more damage. But already the Dryads are going to win the 1v1 fight because of that bonus damage from True Shot Aura. Everything has a ranged attack in Th000's army, and with that in play, 1 or 2 volleys, hits, and exchanges could go very, very far. Huntresses, Dryads, and the Priestess of the Moon now making their bit of a move. Ogre Lord now going to try and get creeped out here. The Demon Hunter wants to creep out this position, but realizes that it cannot get creep jacked. There is the Owl Scout. Huntress is now going to run into position here, and now focusing down perhaps the Dryads first. Dryad number 1, no, not falling. Not quite sure why. There. Oh, wait, Scroll of Healing now used. Dryad number 1. Dryad number 2, Dryad number 3, now all falling here as the bears are going after other Dryads here. Panda does get a Breath of Fire off onto all the Huntresses as the Glaive Thrower are trying to do some bonus damage here. More bears now coming in. Priestess of the Moon needs to use a Scroll of Town Portal in order to get away, and it looks like it will be able to do exactly that, but still, one Huntress gets taken down. The bears with plus 10 attack off of that Roar, making a profound impact here as the Dryads really perhaps should be heading off to the Fountain of Health to try and regenerate some hit points. Oh, heading off to the North Fountain of Health instead. 2 very low hit point Dryads who may end up falling victim to the Dryads and the bears if ZhouXixi just scouts them out at the right time. Army size 56/70 compared to 60/60. Th000 has a lot of work to do in order to get back. He no longer has that economic advantage. He does not have the technological advantage as he's at Tree of Ages, not Tree of Eternity. And he's going to fall behind in hero advantage as his opponent has 2 level 4 heroes while he only has a single level 5. Yes, the Priestess of the Moon is very, very effective at leading this army, and that's exactly what we're seeing now. The Dryads still regenerating a bit of hit points as the Dryads now backing off here. All right, 60/60, buying time to really make a bit of a play, but the Priestess of the Moon cannot gain any real ground in terms of experience. He cannot gain any more experience from the creeps as the creeps stop giving experience at level 5. Meanwhile, ZhouXixi and ZhouXixi's Panda and Demon Hunter can in fact gain more experience, and that's going to be the big issue. Ancient Protector coming in, Tree of Life now getting upgraded or built off at the 9 o'clock location for an additional expansion, 65/70, as we're going to be looking at a Dryad healing right down over there. The Red Drake could get killed. Let's take a look. Priestess of the Moon with 2 scrolls of healing really wishes that he had a second hero in order to stop the cooldown on the Scroll of Healing. The Scroll of Healing is there to try and counteract that Breath of Fire, but now with an army of Dryads as large as it is, that was a very big transition. I am curious as to what exactly ZhouXixi is hoping to do. The bears with the Dryad slow poison are not going to be able to get into position. Ancient Protector now nearly done, but with 2 Ancients of War sitting off to the side, they'll be able to protect that without much of a problem. Panda now leading the way. Bears getting back into Druid form here as we now head across the map. Dryads are now going to be coming into position, and here you go. There's that slow poison. Those bears taking a little bit of damage over time, but the Dryads catching 1 out of position there. No Staff of Preservation, and if Th000 loses this fight and loses this game, it will be because he doesn't have a Staff of Preservation. You can see ZhouXixi most likely going to save that. See, at the last moment, saving that. 2 more bears go taken, or Huntresses get taken down. ZhouXixi still has plenty of targets, And still the focusing down of units. Dryads now falling for ZhouXixi. I'm not sure why we don't see more Staff of Preservation action. There's one, there's two. We should have seen a second unit get preserved already, as the Demon Hunter now sitting at 5. All right, the Priestess of the Moon now sitting at level 6. Are we going to see a bit of an engagement here, as there is only bears left? So if the Dryads actually play this right and just dance around, turn around and attack, they could actually get a lot of lethal damage here. No, they're just going to try and run all the way back, get a lot of distance. Oh, one bear could have gotten pelted down in a matter of seconds. Not quite sure why it wasn't, as that 500 hit points, it gets taken down very, very quickly. Ancients of War taking down this Ancient Protector without a big issue, and now the Dryads going after just a very, very unfortunate Druid of the Claw. The Druid of the Claw most likely will get stabbed of Preservation if the heroes try to come back in time. It looks like it is not going to get saved, and down it goes. All right, Priestess of the Moon still seen at level 6, does not have enough for Starfall. Panda right there tries to get off a Breath of Fire, will not be able to hit the all of those wisps there, as now in comes the units. All right, here comes the engagement. There goes the attack. Staff of Preservation should be coming in. There it is. Scroll of Town Portal now to try and save, as so many of the units are now being backed off once more. 51 over 70 compared to 54 over 70. ZhouXixi with 2 level 5 heroes, the definite leader now. As long as he does not make any risky plays, he's gonna be in a perfectly viable position. Both sides now out of gold at their gold mines, as the long walk begins. All right, let's take a look. Dryads now regenerating hit points at this Fountain of Health off to the north. ZhouXixi, as a Tree of Eternity, looks like it is not. Is it moving nearly as fast? No, it is not moving nearly as fast. Nature's Blessing was not researched, and that could be a big problem. All right, let's see. A lot of wisp down over here, and we are going to be looking at the Ancients of War. Now coming in for a bit of a play. The Dryads are ready to go. They are upgraded only 1-0. Nothing happening at the Hunter's Hall at all, as the Demon Hunter and the Panda now, or Pandodin, now ready to go. All right, Priestess of the Moon, ready to go. Does have Starfall, but will have to be in a very, very curious position if it wants to try and stop his opponent. There are a lot of bears, a handful of Dryads in this fight, and the Demon Hunter looks like he is ready to bring the fight here. The Panda, however, doesn't have that many items. Meanwhile, the Priestess of the Moon still has a Scroll of Healing and a Scroll of Town Portal. This could be just a smash and grab job here in just a second, as there it is. There's the Starfall, and Starfall just absolutely destroying the main base here. All right, let's take a look. A couple of Dryads getting caught out of position. They are chasing after these units here. There goes that leading unit. There goes one, and that Starfall is still destroying much of the base. Let's take a look at this. The bases are just taking so much damage. The Dryads now coming in here, but I don't think the Starfall is going to be enough. The Priestess of the Moon taking a lot of damage, down to 200 hit points. 214-2, gets taken down, doesn't use the Potion of Invulnerability, and I believe that is, they're just talking like, why didn't I just save my unit? And I think ZhouXixi is going to walk away with the victory here, pretty much given to him by Samdan. All right, ZhouXixi with 43 over 70, and that is going to be it. Nothing really to call. Maybe there was lag on the Scroll of Town Portal. There's the GG. And ZhouXixi takes game number 3 and the series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.